Hundreds of games were previewed at this year's E3 from many amazing publishers and developers. There was a whole lot to take in. So today we're breaking down some of the best of E3 from highly anticipated games to surprise title reveals. We're focusing more so on games that gave us both the trailer and gameplay footage, but there are a few exceptions. With that in mind, let's take a look at the best of E3 2018. Starting us off with Death Stranding. Hideo Kojima's latest sci-fi masterpiece has been shrouded in mystery for a long while now. Its latest trailer and gameplay footage reveal only increased that mystery when it debuted at Sony's press conference. Starting off with a shot of a fetus, it only got more bizarre from there, and everyone just wants to know more. The game stars Norman Reedus as Sam Bridges, who is presumably a delivery man of sorts, and is also carrying around a tiny baby encased in a synthetic womb. If the stunning visuals had you a little bit baffled, Kojima did shine some light on it in a blog post, saying, I quote, "Some might have already picked up on this, but Sam is unlike any other hero you may have seen in games before. A typical hero is usually some sort of elite or someone with a military background. Sam is not. He is a working man of sorts, a hands-on professional, someone with a skill set akin to a blue-collar worker. This is something you'll intuitively understand once you play the game and control Sam. Herein lies our challenge, to create both a new form of gameplay and a hero that has never been done before." Next up is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. We all knew that Assassin's Creed Odyssey would be making an appearance at Ubisoft's conference this year. News of the game was leaked leading up to the Expo, along with screenshots the night before the showcase. But even with those leaks, the game still really impressed audiences. The installment sees you playing as a Spartan mercenary during the Golden Age of Athens, specifically in the Peloponnesian War that took place between Athens and Sparta. You get to choose your gender, playing as either Alexios or Cassandra, and the game is more of an RPG than ever. You have multiple dialogue options, can romance other characters, there's branching quests, and alternate game endings. The combat mechanics have also gone a bit of a one-up, being smoother than what we saw in Assassin's Creed Origins, and features the likes of your character participating in large-scale battles. Odyssey is set to be released on October 5th, 2018. Next up, we've got the awesome adventures of Captain Spirit. There were a lot of really awesome indie games featured across all of the major showcases this year. One of the biggest indie titles was screened at both Microsoft and Square Enix's conferences, The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, from Don't Nod Entertainment, the developers behind Life is Strange. According to them, it's a spin-off, taking place in the same world as Life is Strange, and hides many secrets and even some links to the brand new story and characters of Life is Strange 2. The choices you make in the game will also have direct effects on the events of Life is Strange 2, with the data carrying over into that game. But what about Captain Spirit itself? Well, the game follows the story of a 10-year-old imaginative boy who is not only enamored by superheroes, but spends the game on his own superhero adventures. Captain Spirit will be a complete standalone experience concerning its story, and will be available for free on June 26th on PS4, PC, and Xbox One. Let's take a look at Skull and Bones next, Ubisoft's online multiplayer pirate game, which was shown off in depth at this year's E3, and looks really cool. Watch out, Sea of Thieves. The gameplay footage we were given dives right into the thick of it, outlining the kinds of mechanics we can expect from combat on the seas to politics of planning a score. This is the first title of Ubisoft Singapore, steeped in a whole lot of historical inspiration, and is a shared open world where every player encounter matters. The devs also shared an extended gameplay demo showcasing a PvPvE mode called the Hunting Grounds, which also looks incredibly promising. Next up is Cyberpunk 2077. While we didn't get gameplay footage or a demo of Cyberpunk 2077, we did get a stellar trailer revealing way more about the game's world at the end of Microsoft's press conference. Like Death Stranding, we still don't know much, but unlike Death Stranding, it's much easier to piece together. It's a first-person RPG that takes place in a futuristic open world. Rumors from behind closed-door gameplay demos have revealed that you play as a man or a woman. You pick from various stats at the start of the game that have been pulled from the original tabletop RPG. You can drive vehicles and engage in combat while in them. You can get missions from NPCs that you interact with, and you will need to expand upon your skills as you go, needing to be a certain level and certain skills in order to progress. It's still a little shrouded in mystery, but still pretty promising, considering it is CD Projekt at the helm of this title. Next up, let's look at SpiderMan. The SpiderMan game had a massive reveal at last E3, and while people weren't freaking out nearly as much as last year, the gameplay footage we got this year has many eagerly awaiting its release date on September 7, 2018. This time around, we saw Spidey at the Raft, the supervillain prison in the Marvel Universe, chasing down villain Electro as he freed the prison's inhabitants, which just so happens to include some of Spider-Man's biggest foes. The teaser ended off with a major cliffhanger too, so needless to say, fans are excited to see what this new interpretation of Peter Parker will bring us. Now let's take a look at Beyond Good and Evil 2. The title returned with a phenomenal look at where the game is at. And fear not, it's finally getting done. While no release date was mentioned, we did get a new trailer featuring the return of Jade, and some stellar gameplay footage, taking place in one of its metropolitans, which was said to be only one small portion of the game's open world. Devs have also announced that they've teamed up with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's Hit Record, extending an open invitation to fans and artists to help contribute with the assets that will appear in the massive world they're creating. Ghost of Tsushima was one of the titles everyone knew would be on display at Sony's conference. The gaming titan showed off the title's brutal yet stunning combat that in a gameplay trailer, which gave us a further look at where the story takes place during the Mongol invasion. Another open world game, it was noted as being one of the goriest of the expo overall, offering up a lot to look forward to when it comes to overall atmosphere. Next up is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Nintendo didn't disappoint with their showcase this year. Ending off the major conferences at E3, Nintendo's main feature was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Nintendo have been clearly meticulously working away at the newest addition to the Super Smash Bros. Series. As they declared, the game has thousands of improvements compared to its predecessor, which includes a serious graphic update, as seen in their side-by-side comparison of gameplay footage. But what's really spectacular about this new title is that it's the biggest video game crossover in all of history. Every character that has ever appeared in a Smash Bros. Game, including the DLCs, is back for Ultimate, and each character has been given a redesign to make them more intuitive in combat. We also got to see some faces return from a 10-year absence, including the likes of Solid Snake. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate will be available on the Switch on December 7, 2018. Fallout 76 blew everyone's minds. First off, not much was known leading up to the game's reveal at E3, just a trailer that everyone speculated over. Some people even thought it'd be a battle royale. Bethesda decided that they'd skip out on that trend though, and under the skilled oration of Todd Howard, we were introduced to the franchise's latest edition, an entirely online game with the option for both solo play and multiplayer. Multiplayer is really where this game shines though. Set in the hills of West Virginia, it takes place only 20 years after the war, and the wasteland is a very different and untamed one than we're used to. You can work together with other players, build together, and of course fight together, all of which makes it a whole lot easier to survive in the wasteland. The new camp feature allows you to build structures and customize them to your heart's desire, but all that can be blown to hell too. Bethesda placed nuclear missile sites all over the map, which is 4 times the size of Fallout 4's map, might we add, and you can find launch codes for those missiles, and do whatever you want with them, including blowing each other up. Each dedicated server only allows for a dozen people though, making it feel way more like the wasteland rather than a crowded MMORPG. It'll be available November 14, 2018, with a beta available this summer. Also, honorable mention goes to Bethesda for revealing Elder Scrolls 6, something many fans did not think would ever happen, or at least happen anytime soon. And last but not least, let's look at The Last of Us Part 2. This should be no surprise. The Last of Us Part 2 is arguably the most anticipated game in recent history, and at Sony's showcase we got a small taste of what we can expect from the sequel title. It appears as if the story this time around will be more focused on Ellie, who is now a young adult, and the game still promises to be loaded with the same stealth meets melee combat that we all adored the first game for. The trailer, which transitioned seamlessly into gameplay footage, showed some wonderful human interactions between Ellie, a friend of hers, and a new love interest, who she shares a kiss with. Naughty Dog was applauded for their exploration of the character's sexuality in The Last of Us DLC, and many fans of the game were glad to see that that aspect of the character will carry over into the main story of the sequel, although it seems that the revenge plot that was hinted to at the previous year's E3 trailer of the game may have something to do with Ellie's loved ones, minus Joel, with them potentially being killed off. Regardless of the plot, the gameplay promised to give us all the things that we loved about the original and more, and even showed off some of the new mechanics for Ellie's bow and arrow, which was pretty neat. Alright, there we have it friends, what was your favorite part of E3? Are there games you wish had made an appearance? And which ones are you dying to get your hands on? Let us know all of your thoughts and feels in those comments below. If you dug this video, please hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Gaming for all your highlights, updates, and news on E3, and all things gaming in general. Thanks for watching everybody.